right, so I got to ask you, Tonga, football. Just growing up, who were some of your favorite football players?
Man, so I grew up in North Shore in Hawaii, in Laie. So the guys that played there, I mean, guys that I knew, so Lakehe Muli was a player. We had all the Islanders, so like Alemeth Fitissimanu and Vai Sikahema was a baller. I mean, Vai was like
It's Pro Bowl.
that was our hero growing up, especially from my island and my being Tongan descent. So yeah, we had the, and then you just follow any of the guys that played. I mean, I was always leaning towards Polynesian players, and there's not a lot of Polynesian players back then, but now they are. And when Jesse Sapolu was playing for the Niners, we all became Niner fans. That's just what happens, you know. And then it helped that I was a BYU fan and that Niners were drafting a bunch of BYU guys, so like it just made it a lot more convenient for me. You know what I mean? So I love my heritage. I love what I represent. I love where my family comes from and where I come from, and I'm looking forward to making a lot of people happy and making them proud of what we're accomplishing.
Well, one time for Vi, man, two-time Pro Bowl. A lot of people don't realize for those Cardinal teams how great he was.
Yeah, and a Golden Gloves boxer too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Great athlete.
That's a thing I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, so obviously you BYU alum. I just got to ask you on the spot, man. If you did a BYU Mount Rushmore, 4 BYU football players, who would be the 4 that you put on the Mount Rushmore?
Well, I mean, if it's for Mount Rushmore, you got to have Lavelle, but he's not a player.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's
fine.
you got to have Lavelle, and then I think it's going to be a huge. I don't know if you can. The Rushmore is going to be like a dozen people up there.
Yeah.
It's going to have to be mountains Rushmore. You know what I mean? So like, but you can look at all the best ones that played there. I mean, it's quarterback. That place was all about quarterback. Steve Young, Ty Detmer, Gifford Nielsen, Mark Wilson, Robbie Bosco, you know, John Beck, Taysom Hill, Max Hall. There's like all these great ones that played at BYU. I hope I'm not leaving anybody out, but they're great. It's been a quarterback factory, especially when Lavelle was there. And so, I mean, Steve Sarkisian played there. So I think you'd have to do it by positions. And I'm such a big BYU fan. I grew up loving BYU.
Uh-huh.
It's going to be hard for me to choose.
I like that.
It's either just Lavelle up there by himself or Lavelle with like 30 people. So
Quarterback, you low key. I like that.
Yeah.
That. So being a fullback, I mean, you being a fullback, I got to ask you, man. Just
I forgot Jim McMahon too. You know, so come on, man. Like, yeah, sorry, I'm still thinking about the other stuff. But
wow.
yeah, great ones. There's some great ones that have been there.
You know, you being a former fullback, right? I got to ask you this, man, because it seems like in football now, the fullback is sort of, I'm going to say it's like not there anymore, but it's not really a thing in football in general for having a fullback. What has changed in the NFL? Is it the past that is sort of taken away the fullback, or is it just like the position's not like what it used to be? Because, I mean, obviously when I grew up, I mean, there was like Moose, Lorenzo Neal types, all these
Lorenzo
guys.
Neal,
yourself,
oh
I mean,
my
just
gosh.
all kind of guys.
Yeah, like you had Rathman,
Yeah, Tom
and you had
Rathman.
Moose. I mean, you had Suler back in the day.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, let me see, who's the one that played for the block for Thurman Thomas? That's another one.
Yes.
And then you even had like Keith Byers. You had like Keith Byers from back in the day when he played Philly.
Dolphin
So,
grade,
yeah. So then these big fullbacks started playing tailback like Christian Okoye and all these monsters and the bus. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think the game now is the H back is kind of like the new fullback, and then everybody wants those H backs to be a certain height and certain dynamic. But I still think there's a room for fullbacks always, and you know we have fullbacks on our team right now too. But I feel like that's one of those things that you just got to keep around. You just there's some great people that have played fullback and O line. You know I look at like Andy Reid, who's a BYU alum, and he's an O lineman. You know what I mean? So just shows that you can be a fullback and O lineman and still coach football. You don't have to be the quarterback. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I think for me, I'm always going to have a fullback on our team. I think maybe that's just me being selfish, but come on, man! Like you got to keep that position going.
Speaking of coaching, man, you know, I think this BYU team has a lot of potential. You got Slovis, you got Epps, different guys on this team. It seems like when I talk to those guys, they talk about just the hunger of wanting to play. It seems like there's an intensity to these guys. Is that something that you have been preaching to them about, just wanting the hunger? Not so much about having the glory, but that hunger to want to go out there and compete. Is that something that you have sort of implemented into this team?
Honestly, that's something that we look for in recruiting. But those guys came that way because their parents raised them that way, you know. And I'm just trying to provide an opportunity and an environment where that can thrive. And so it'd be inappropriate for me to try to take credit for all that stuff. But they came a certain way, and they came like hungry for opportunities to play. And my job is to give them those opportunities and give them the chance to be leaders and to feel like this is empower them to run the team within reason, you know. But I think the best thing about our team is that they don't need me to be out there saying everything every time, all the time. I mean, if I had all the answers, then I'd be doing something else besides this. But I know one thing, between me and my coaches and my players, we got all the answers right in front of us. We just have to be humble enough to listen to everybody and have everybody be comfortable enough to speak what's on their mind. And then the key is for us to actually listen and collaborate. And then whatever decision we make, we don't have to agree. Whatever decisions we make, whether it's scheme or whatever it is, or culture, whatever it is, that we just execute it and go with it together. But I know that when people feel empowered to say what's on their mind and to voice their opinion, that becomes really, really motivating. It becomes this intrinsic move. And so those guys are hungry, but it's important that I just keep feeding the hunger, but then also reminding them that that's why I brought them here.
Like it. Last question. So you cannot walk out without answering this. I'm not going to let you survive this one. So we did a Mount Rushmore for BYU.
Okay.
You seem to be a football junkie, so I know you got your 4.
Okay.
You being a coach, if you had to do the Mount Rushmore of college football coaches, who are the 4 that you put on the Mount Rushmore?
Is this college or NFL?
College. So I'm going to throw out a few, because I know it could be just like on the spot. So Bear Bryant is kind of an obvious, I think, for a lot of people. So we'll see where we at.
I mean, well, man, there's so many great ones too, but like, I'm always going to be throwing Lavelle out there because that's my guy.
That's one. I like that.
Right?
Okay.
But I think Bobby Bowden's a really great coach too. Man, it's hard not to throw Nick Saban into that as well. Okay. And man, this is going to come. It's kind of a nail biter, but I probably go. I probably would go a little bit more old school again. But I'm looking at the longest tenured people that coached, and it's like, man, you can't go wrong with Bobby. You can't go with Lavelle, Nick as well.
That's 3. That's a nice 3.
Yeah, I don't. The 4th is kind of a toss up, but I kind of want to go new wave in a little bit. But like Nick's kind of, even though he's older, yeah. But I would imagine that like Dabo or Kirby would be in the mix there, and they're still got way more years to coach, but I mean they do a great job, you know.
I love it. That was a great answer. This is the football junkie here. Well, yeah. Coach, I appreciate.
I'm just trying to the variety and getting some old and some new.
Yeah, like, Kirby's gonna probably be there with this double team. Well, Coach, I appreciate your time. Good luck. Congratulations on joining the Big 12, but good luck on everything this season, man. I really look forward to seeing what this team can do, man, because I feel like there's a lot of potential there, man. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun with it, and it's an honor to be here and be a part of this, but I'm looking forward to the games, and I'm going to make a prediction, but, man, either way, I want to enjoy it, whether we're at home or on the road. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Love it. Well, Coach, appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.